sorry, God, but it's my last day in this universe. I need to see birds and buzzing bees, green grass, evergreen trees. I'm seeing people who have been mean to me, and why would I waste my time? All my favorite people need teary-eyed goodbyes. Talk, laugh, hug, and give a bunch of hard high fives. I did my best, man. I gave this thing a good try. If it was my last day on earth, if it was my last day, if it was my last day on earth, if it was my last day, if I close my eyes and the sun don't rise, would I be okay? If it was my last day on earth, if it was my last day. Wait, it's telling me I got 24 of these 60-minute things left. Damn, I ain't get to be a billionaire yet. Fly around first class, private jet flex, use a black Amex, get up out the duplexes, buy a Lexus, take a road trip to a spaceship, and I'ma get on, bounce up in the sky, and I'ma get gone. Gave up too much just to see one more dawn. If it was my last day on earth, if it was my last day, if it was my last day on earth, if it was my last day, if I close my eyes and the sun don't rise, will I be okay? If it was my last day on earth, if it was my last day. Yeah.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone, and I'm happy to see you all today. So thank you guys for allotting time during your week to attend an ACE Commerce Philippines event. So we are now in YouTube Live because of the past two webinars. We have exceeded our Zoom capacity. So we decided to have our very first private live streams to accommodate all those who are SVP. So anyways, I hope everyone will be participative and enthusiastic on our live chat below. So we have our tech team monitoring the chat for any questions or concerns you might have. So I hope everyone's excited because we will be starting our webinar in a few minutes. So the event will start at exactly 4 p.m. Thank you.
She told me that she loved me by the water fountain. She told me that she loved me and she didn't love him. And that was really lovely cause it was innocent. But now she's got a cup with something else in it. It's getting kinda blurry at 10:15. And he was in a hurry to be touching her skin. She's feeling kinda dirty when she's dancing with him, forgetting what she told me by the water fountain. Now he's grabbing her hips and pulling her in, kissing her lips.
All right, so hi everyone and welcome to this week's ACE Commerce event, and thank you for joining us for today's exciting webinar. So my name is Patrice and I'm a community associate of ACE Commerce Philippines, a cross-border entrepreneur learning community. So before I call on our speaker for today's webinar, let me introduce you guys to what ACE Commerce is. Next slide, please. So Amazing Cross-Border Entrepreneur Commerce, or ACE Commerce, is a global entrepreneur community that started in Indonesia. So ACE Commerce is for anyone interested in learning about building successful cross-border commerce by exploring opportunities in a wide range of commerce, as well as having amazing insights and guidance from awesome founders and entrepreneurs. And of course, we also strive to bring in amazing founders, mentors, and entrepreneurs to talk to our community of aspiring successful entrepreneurs. And we strive to provide the best online resources and content to our community to help them towards entrepreneurial success. So if you want to learn more about entrepreneurship and get updated for upcoming events, please like our Facebook page. And in order to connect with fellow entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, you can join our Telegram groups so you can network and ask advice from the community. So lastly, I'd like to go over a few items for those who would want to have their e-certificates. So our participants must fill out the evaluation form during the end of the webinar. So the link will be given at the end of the talk and will be open until 11:59 p.m. only today. So you must send a proof of attendance at this webinar. It can just be a screenshot of this live and also a proof of your membership at our website. So it can also be a screenshot of your account on our Ace Commerce website. So in case some of you guys are not a member yet, then here's how you can sign up. So yes, I hope everyone here is already a member, but if you're not, you can just sign up at our website after this webinar. So anyways, that's all from me because I know everyone is eager to meet our speaker. So let me introduce our key speaker for the day. So our speaker for today is Mr. David Ramos, the founder and CEO of Xurge Digital Media and Consulting Corporations. So this webinar is perfect for aspiring and current entrepreneurs out there who want to be creative and strategic in marketing their own business. So everyone, let us all welcome and give a round of applause to Mr. David Ramos. Hi, Sir David.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be back here and share some experiences and knowledge for the community. So everyone is doing great. I hope everyone is doing well. You are all on your safe zones, all healthy, all in a perfect condition. So without any further ado, the topic for our talk right now is about the essential skills for aspiring or new entrepreneurs. Now, if you are here, I already have an assumption that you are somehow looking forward to beginning a business, or you are already in the journey of constructing a business, having enough sale to build your momentum. But the idea here is that what are the essential skills that you can start applying or enhancing to be a successful entrepreneur? Now, there might be some questions around here for those who were not able to attend on my previous talk about branding. And what is basically my background? So of course, bakit ako nagsasalita sa harap ninyo? So I'd like to give you a bit of a story about myself. So as mentioned, that I am currently the founder and CEO of Xurge Digital Media and Consulting Company. So basically, we are a digital media agency catering for small and medium-sized enterprises who wants to supersize their business growth through digital marketing. And we do a bunch of things like social media, paid advertisements on Facebook, Google, TikTok, so on and so forth, consulting, content marketing, branding, everything. So basically, our main objective is how we understand businesses and how we can make them be relevant and create predictable growth to their audiences. So that is one of my business. And before I started my entrepreneurial journey, I also worked in a corporate field. I worked as a formal digital acquisitions lead in City, Philippines. By the way, the digital acquisition lead role is my last role in the past 5 years that I've been with the company. But I've been in so many departments there, starting from being a sales officer, a regional trainer, an engagement manager, an assistant team leader, for a short period of time being a product manager, and then a digital acquisitions team lead that handles, I think, around 15 to 23 members under my leadership. Next is I'm also a consultant and a speaker, just like this setting, and sharing all of the things that I have learned in my aggressive years as a young entrepreneur and having to build businesses in the past, and also having to fail businesses in the past 10 years. So this will be an absolute goal for everyone who are just starting and to bit remove the roadblocks of, doing a bunch of testing, a lot of mistakes along the way, not having a mentor who can guide them. So this can give you a bit of a leverage on what are the things that some entrepreneurs made that you can easily learn from this. And also, I'm an entrepreneurship advocate. So aside from the digital media agency that I have right now, I also have an athletic apparel and also an organic soap business. So medyo maraming venture. But prior to that, I've been into a lot of entrepreneurial ventures that have failed before. I think as early as 13 years old, I was already exposed in, the hustle and bustle of waking up in the morning, going out with my dad, going to suppliers, being in our restaurant, jumping into one branch to another, and then from the end to end, from the day-to-day fulfillment of doing the logistics, doing inventories, being in the kitchen, being in the cashier. So just like a typical Chinese kid, though I'm not Chinese, I'm a full-blood Filipino, but the setting there was really expose the kid, which is me, in the setting of cultivating or developing an entrepreneurial mindset, which brought me, I believe that contributed a lot to my mindset into how I react in the landscape of business. So first of all, we are talking about the essential skills of what it takes to be a good businessman. All right. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a small business or whether it's a large corporation. As long as you have something that can solve everyone's problem or your audience's problem, then you can consider that as a business. But a business in entrepreneurship slash. All right. So, but we need to align first. What does entrepreneurship really mean? Because we are being so infatuated by the things that we see on social media, driving expensive cars, living in luxury houses, buying all the things that you want. But it is overrated and over infatuated with the true concept of entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is not a joke. Okay. If there are people here listening right now that believe that entrepreneurship is just like a 9 to 5 job, I am sorry to tell you that that is not the similar case. Entrepreneurship is 24/7 by 365 days working your ass off because you think that someone or your competition is ready to kick you out of business. That should be the mindset as an entrepreneur. Now, what does a typical day of an entrepreneur look like? Okay, a typical day of entrepreneur look like this. It's like a trend. If you're familiar with stocks, it's like a volatile trend of ups and downs, right? So that the idea of entrepreneurship being a straight arrow moving up is not really in existence. All right. So there are times that you will feel hype, especially on the birth stage of your business, that you have all this idea, you have all these amazing concepts, marketing strategies, operational resources, and you're in the peak of your excitement that this business will go. But as you progress along, there will be roadblocks away, and there will come a time where you will just feel that you want to give up. And then there will also come a time where you feel that you are bouncing again. You're bouncing back up from the challenges that you have encountered. And again, you will experience a deep challenge or adversity along the way that will make you again rethink of your journey, if this is really for you, or you would like to jump into a different career or a different business. So it's a volatile, dirty, exhausting, unmotivating sometimes kind of work. Now, I'm not here to discourage you. I'm not here to discourage you on being in the entrepreneurial world, but I am here to tell you that we are managing the expectation of everyone so that when you accept the reality that this will be your life, you now have a leverage of really going into the extended period of effort, because entrepreneurship is not just any corporate job. Entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. When you mean by lifestyle, you live by this day in and day out. You cannot complete your day, or your person, the kind of person you are is not complete without thinking of all the ideas, of all the things that can improve your venture. Even if it's your personal brand, you consider yourself as a personal brand, you want to be a content creator, or you have this amazing product or an amazing business model that you believe will change the life of your target consumers. So entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. Now, if you think that entrepreneurship is just a normal job, though it is, okay, but if you're not in the setting or in the mindset of you will do this until the end of time, you will do this until your last breath, you will do this until you are on your deathbed, right? So if that is something you are not fully capable of understanding, this is the perfect webinar for you, okay? Because everything and all of the people that you see on social media who has all of the things that they can possess and all the luxury things, that didn't land there. Although there are small percentage of people who have the blessing of being given a huge capital and just making it work for their business, 95% or even 98% of people are starting from scratch, and they don't have any idea or the complete experience of what it takes to being a nobody, trying to hustle their ass off, and then being into someone that everyone admires. Now, that is my goal here. It is to give you the skills, the soft skills rather, on what do you really need to be a successful entrepreneur. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, listen to this. If you are already in the business of serving product or service, now you might want to check if you have this kind of skills. Now, I'm talking about soft skills first, because soft skills is where the foundation begins. People and some startup business owners think that business is all about hard skills or technical skills. Now, no matter how great your technical skills are, but if your deep foundation in your heart, in your soul, and in your mind is not that strong, then you will eventually give up, especially if when there is a roadblock that gets on the way, and there will be roadblocks along the way. So to inspire everyone, this is going to change your perspective about entrepreneurship. Number one, what are the essential skills that you need to be a successful entrepreneur? I'll be giving you 5. Now, we don't want to limit ourselves with this 5, but for the sake of limited time, I will give you the 5 important skills, soft skills that I believe and personally has contributed to how I go things in terms of developing, managing, and attacking the things and the actions that I do inside my business. Starting off with number 1 is sales and communication. 2 is strategic thinking. 3rd is willingness to learn. 4th is problem solving. And 5, perseverance. Let's start with number 1, sales and communication. Sales and communication, if you want to be an entrepreneur, this is a no-brainer. Because if you are in the business, your objective is to sell. Now, the idea here is that if you are in business and you want to sell, you must be able to communicate with your audience in the most efficient way possible. Now, it's not just about talking with your consumers, because everything is digital right now. You can typically sell your product or service without facing customers. Okay, depends on your business model. But there are times when you have to talk to investors. Let's say if you reach that level of talking to investors, talking to suppliers, you are bargaining to have a good deal. Or let's say evaluating the customer service experience of your people. Now, communication with poor communication, you will have a hard time expressing the idea. Think of it this way. If you are 10 out of 10 on your technical skills, will people perceive you as 10 out of 10 if your skill in communication and sales is 2 over 10? You're only as good as how you communicate with your people, right? So whether it's an external negotiation or an internal negotiation with your people or with your employees, the idea there is you make them understand, imagine, and realize what is the vision that you are seeing in your mind, and be able to articulate it with your people so that you all have the common understanding of your direction. In sales, again, it's about being able to influence your consumers and your audience that you can change their life. Now, that is something that I believe is underrated, because most think that sales is just about, exchange of goods and products. Now, think of it again as an example like this. If you go out there, let's say that the pandemic is over and you need to expose yourself out there, networking with a bunch of people, dealing with a bunch of suppliers. Let's say you're talking to people in Alibaba who is located in China, your supplier is located in China, and you have a project that deals with foreign people. How do you communicate as a Filipino entrepreneur effectively and efficiently? I'll give an example. Just a few days ago, I think this was this was last Saturday. I had a project with a learning platform company that is based in Russia. Now they expanded their online courses here in the Philippines, targeting those who are looking to change their career and shifting to digital marketing. So our project is to I will create a course for them, and they will use that as a module for their students inside their learning platform. Now, these people that I am negotiating with are Russians. Now, I've worked with a bunch of people, international clients, Japanese, Chinese, Americans, and even Australians. That is easy to, it's easy to communicate. But I'm always fascinated, and it's always a mystery for me on how to deal and work closely with Russians. So I took the opportunity to share, to know their stories, the cultural differences, what are their thoughts about working with Filipinos, and as we progress in that day of shooting, talking about a bunch of stuff, I was able to realize that really communication is so important, because if I'm not fluent in English, but if I didn't have the audacity to express myself, to express myself on the ideas that I have, I will have a hard time communicating with them and being able to satisfy their questions and the experience that I should be able to provide to them. So you must be able to confidently sell your idea or your product. Now, if there are some people here, let's say if there are 1, 2, or 3, a small amount of people here who have the most innovative idea, let's say, and then you have an opportunity to pitch it to venture capitalists. Now, when we mean by venture capitalists, you are pitching your business idea to a bunch of investors that they will fund your business, and there are series of funding that you need to go through. Now, let's say if you have that opportunity, the first stage is about selling your idea. And when you are selling your idea, it means that you must be able to communicate the vision, the story, and the end goal, and what's in it for the investors, right? Now, with the lack of the ability to sell, and with the lack of the ability to communicate, no matter how great your product is, no matter how great of cash flow you have, but if the receiving end, which is the investor, has a hard time understanding where you're coming from, let's say, I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? I'm sorry, how can you say that again? I wasn't able to understand it clearly. If the conversation is focused on getting back and forth from reiterating what you have said, then that will be a trouble or a difficulty for both parties. Now, that is one skill that you need to master: how to communicate and how to sell. Now, it may sound a little bit complicated, but it's not, right? So I've worked in the past 6 years training a bunch of salespeople, and sales takes practice. There are people who are born to sell, but sales skills can be practiced. Don't worry about that. I started when I was in college. I cannot speak like this. I am the kind of student back then. By the way, I finished Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurship. And when I was in the classroom and doing recitations, and when the teacher calls me, my hands are already sweating. I haven't answered the question, but I cannot say it in the most compelling and most comprehensive way because I am always nervous. Now, it came to a realization that I need to take a leap, because I cannot be like this. I cannot be a person who is in the corner just listening and cannot express what I should say, even though I am a person that has a lot of ideas, right? So it's about taking the step, exposing into different scenarios, different experiences, and practice what you can do. So how do you develop your sales and communication skills? Number one, as an entrepreneur, I'm talking about in the perspective of an entrepreneur. Now, when we mean by sales, again, let me take a step back here. When we mean by sales, this is not just about face-to-face conversation. We're talking about sales even in the digital presence. You're not talking face-to-face with a person, but how do you persuade your people about, remember, sales is about persuading people to take an action for your product or service. Now, how do you develop sales and communication? Number one is learn people's psychology. Now, you don't need to take bachelor's on science, major in psychological studies to be great at this. The idea here for you to learn sales psychology is to know what are the things that is running into the minds of your audience. If you're speaking with someone, what do you think are their pain points? What do you think are their challenges? Because if you know how they react, whether their body language, what are the things that they need to understand, and use that as an opportunity for you to play around with the conversation and take control of the conversation, because you know exactly what's coming into their mind and what they're about to say, then you already have a leverage or a win in that conversation. And by doing that is knowing the psychology of your specific target. Now, you cannot study everyone, but we're talking about studying who you think will hugely contribute to your business growth or your sales. That is number one. Second is listen, and most importantly, listen, right? So listening is easy to say, but it is really hard to do, especially if you know what you are talking about. You know, I was also a victim of this, and even up to this day, I still encounter myself falling into this trap. When I'm speaking to someone, right, and I know what they're about to say, I sometimes tend to interrupt them because I already have the pattern recognition that, okay, you will sell this, I will cut you off because I know what you're about to say. But though I'm not doing that frequently, but sometimes I fall into that trap. But most of the time, when you are listening, okay, you make people feel that they are being understood. Okay, that is how great communication begins also, because you don't want to be in a date where your date is always the one speaking and you get bored because they always think about themselves. A good communication is about exchanging ideas, understanding where the person is coming from, and then being able to react based on where they're coming from again. So the way that you can do that is by listening, because through listening, you can use that. If you're a salesperson, you can use that against their objection. You're saying this one, but you mentioned a while ago this one. So it doesn't kind of connect. Will it be possible, or would you recommend something like blah, 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 blah? So you are the one controlling the conversation. If it requires control, if it requires you to control the conversation. But if it's just a small talk, like a peer-to-peer or professional conversation that you don't need a bunch of sales tactics, then still listening is very important. Next is master what you are offering. If you are in a business, okay, you will encounter a lot of people who ask a lot of questions about your product. So you, as an entrepreneur, you must be able to understand the different corners of your offer. Know what is the feature and what is the benefit of your offer, whether it's an e-commerce store. Let's say you're selling clothing line. What are the features, or what's something that they can find on that specific clothes? That is the feature. The fabric, the zipper, the fit, the sizes, that is the feature. But when we say that the benefit, what is something that they can get intangibly? Okay, I repeat that. You need to master your offer, and you need to master that religiously, so that when people ask you, you can answer them confidently, and you can express that in the most simplest way possible. Fourth, practice by speaking to a bunch of people. I know that there are some here in this audience who are afraid to speak to different people. Even I know some people who are afraid to ask water to the waiter, right? So that kind of level in being an introvert. But with so many things that is happening right now, you can have an opportunity to engage with a conversation, even in different types of people. I personally, if I see someone who is really not fit into my brand, but I know that I can learn something from them, and having a different perspective about life, not just in business but in life, I take the spot to converse with them. It's not just about having a different perspective, but also being able to practice on how I can communicate in different levels of life, in different setting of people. So that is number four. Fifth is self-awareness. Self-awareness is very important because a lot of people tend to disregard what they have done. But if you can detect that you have done something and you know how to improve it, then you are good to go as an entrepreneur as well. Because self-awareness is realizing, self-detecting yourself that you have done something wrong and being accountable that you are not blaming other people because of the wrongdoing that you have done, right? So that is self-awareness. That is the number one skill. Second is being a strategic thinker. Being a strategic thinker as a business person, you will make a bunch of decisions day in and day out. The decision making doesn't stop because you are finding a way to grow your business, to generate more revenue, to generate more sales, and how you can outperform your competitor. Now, let me give you an example for a setting of someone who is starting out a business, because I mentioned the word competitor. Did you know that a majority, I think 99% of startup entrepreneurs focus their strategy against their competitors? There is nothing wrong with that. Again, most, if not all, startup owners focus their strategy to outperform their direct competitors. Now, how do we what's something wrong with that statement? If you are focused on your competitor, all of your strategic thinking is about addressing only what they are doing. So if they are ahead into something, then you will be behind because you are just focusing on what they are doing and how you can counteract that. But there is nothing wrong with that. But I believe strongly, as a person who has experienced and seen a lot of loopholes in different startups, you also need to focus your strategic thinking on customer experience, right? Because if your customer experience is also your focus, you are not serving for your competitors, but you are serving for your customers, because you have a direct first-hand feedback of what your customers are saying about your product or service. I have a story that I'd like to share. Just, I think just last Monday, we were looking for a supplier that we can negotiate for one of the business that we will be launching soon. Okay. And we visited a bunch of warehouse. Now we visited this 2 warehouses. Okay. And the warehouse is so big. The first warehouse that we visited, we asked questions. Of course, you would have to inquire. Do you have stuff like this? How much is this? How much is this? Now, those people that we are asking don't know the question. I don't know the answers don't know the answers that they need to provide for our questions. I mean, okay. And it's like they're not serious about entertaining customers. Okay. Maybe it's because they already have big businesses that are tied up with their suppliers, so they think that we won't buy or take volumes of supplies from them. But they are one of the cheapest warehouse. Okay. Now jumping to the next warehouse, they are a bit expensive, but they have a great customer experience. When we call someone, they approach us with a smile. We laugh with them. They accommodate us with the most friendly way possible. And they're able to joke around with us because the warehouse is so big and it's so tiring to look at some of the potential materials that we need. But seeing their vibe, who is happy in what they do, is already a good boost for us that these people are good in the long run. So which one do you think we went to buy most of our supplies? We bought the supplies to those that are a bit expensive but has a great customer experience. Why is this? Because even though the other one is cheaper, do you imagine dealing with them for a very long period of time? This will bring a lot of headaches to your business. And me, I don't want that. I would rather go to someone who is a little bit expensive. We're not talking about huge price difference, but those who can be a little bit expensive but are friendly, because who knows, along the way, maybe we can negotiate a better deal, right? So you see the difference of customer experience. Now, this is something that you need as an entrepreneur, to being a strategic thinker, not just in your business, but when you are outside there, in a snap, you can already know and detect what could be the most strategic way that you can do and respond to this scenario. So if you're just starting out, don't focus your strategic thinking to competitors, as I mentioned a while ago. So how do you develop your strategic thinking? Again, learn to listen, because if you are someone who can listen, you're able to understand where these people are coming from, and then you can counteract what they are saying and provide a better alternative for it to be a win-win situation. In the scenario of maybe communicating with a supplier or a client who is bargaining your price or is bargaining your project. So that's number one. Two, ask the right question. If you see, the first and second number here in strategic thinking is also applicable for the sales and communication of being able to communicate well. Okay, asking the right question is very important, because you are lowering the defense of someone that you're speaking to. As a natural human reaction, that we don't want to share. Okay, and when someone sells to us, we tend to raise our bar in defense, and we don't want anyone to be entering our mind in persuading us to buy something. Okay, but asking the right question is knowing what are the opportunities that you can apply for strategic thinking, and what are the things that you need to realize that you haven't applied into your business. Okay, so that's number three. Third is being observant. I always observe when I am outside. Maybe that's just how I am as a person, but I believe that it's also a very important element for strategic thinking, because when you are observant, there are cases when an idea sparks into your mind. And when that idea sparks into your mind, you are able to adapt that to whatever scenario or whatever situation you are in your business. So be observant. Okay, be naturally observant as much as possible, because you can get a lot of things even by just sitting in a coffee shop and someone passes by, and then something that they have done that sparked an interest to you or an idea. That could be a good strategic approach for you to improve your business. Number third is be curious. Being curious is always thinking against other people's way of thinking or norm. Basically, that's it. Being curious means that if everyone is going straight, you ask, what if we go right? What if we go left? Because as a business person or as an entrepreneur, as much as possible, you don't want to go in the path where everyone is going, because you will just like be any business out there. You are going straight as everyone is going straight, and there are a bunch of businesses who have been in the business for quite some time now, and it's going to be hard for you to catch up. Now, for you to find maybe a unique selling proposition to your business, you need to be curious. If everyone is thinking inside the box, go outside the box. Question yourself, what if we do this? What could be the potential impact? Will this make the life of our consumers better, cooler, or represent them more? That is how being curious mean. Next is question the norm. Actually, this is the same with number 4. Question the norm. If there is something, if you heard something that is commonly addressed or commonly done, try to tweak it. Maybe this can work in a different setting. Maybe this can work if we change number 5. Maybe this can work if we change number 3 and number 3. Or maybe this can work if we can switch number 3 to number 1. Something like that. Question the norm always. Okay. Third, I think this is number 3, is willingness to learn. All right. So this was me back in, actually, I just took this a screenshot on my phone a while ago. This was me back in 2018 when I was in the peak of learning so many things for my business. Okay. Because when I was working in the corporate, I was also doing a lot of stuff outside my corporate job. I was doing freelancing. I was co-founding companies. I was doing shirt printing business. I was studying a bunch of stuff, doing consulting for, those I believe that I can help. And for me to really make sure that I know and I'm a bit ahead of those who are already in the journey or who have started way ahead of me, is about knowing and learning the best practices from proven experts. Because, entrepreneurship entails a lot of trials and errors, but learning from those who have been in the process will you be able to a little bit shortcut on the things that you can avoid. So I have invested so much money in enrolling in different courses. I've invested so much money in investing into, let's say, small startups, small businesses, doing freelancing, so that aside from learning, I am able to adapt those learnings into the actual real world. Because think of it this way: no matter how many books you see the books that are behind me, no matter how many books that you have read, if you don't apply it into real life, then that is a waste knowledge. So what I did before was to study a bunch of things and try to execute it and implement it in the real world scenario. If I study social media marketing back then, I need to apply it in some of my freelancing gigs way back. Before I started scaling my marketing skills into the agency that I have right now, I did so many things that could proven or test my knowledge. So you have to make sure that after you learn, and you need to have the audacity and huge appetite to learn so many things and not be overwhelmed. There are times that you will be overwhelmed, but if you have it in your blood to really digest as much information as you can, and you believe that this will contribute in your personal life and not just in your business, then you are in a good path. So the moment you think that you know everything is the moment you stop growing. Learning is a continuous process. Okay, learning doesn't stop in school. Even outside of school, when you graduated, that is where most of the learnings and experiences comes in. Okay, because you are now exposed to the different setting of outside the four corners of the classroom. So it means that when you stop thinking, or when you think that, okay, I think I know everything already, then that will be the stop of your personal and professional growth. Even when you are on your 60th, if you know Warren Buffett, who is, I think, in his 70s or 80s, who is one of the most brilliant investors that has ever lived, one of the brilliant, that's arguable. So if you can take a good lesson from Warren Buffett, is that even in his 70s or 80s, he still makes sure that he reads newspapers every day, though he's old-fashioned. But what's important is that he is continuously educating himself on what's happening in the market. Now, coming from someone who is really successful, just like Bill Gates, who finishes a lot of books, who takes a lot of courses, he already mentioned that, and he already emphasized that he is still right now doing a lot of studying for himself. If those words are coming from the most successful, one of the most successful people that ever walked in this planet, then I believe that we should start adapting that, and we should start having the audacity or the boldness to also learn. Now, how do you continuously learn as an entrepreneur? Because it's hard. I personally have a hard. I personally am having a hard time juggling, the business side and upskilling, because as a marketer and some of my businesses, it is my responsibility also to do some research, to upskill myself, and to do a bunch of self-learning tasks. But how do we make sure that we are continuously progressing in terms of putting some knowledge into our brain? Number one is discover opportunities. You need to discover opportunities, because discovering new opportunities means you are unlocking new potential and you're unlocking new experiences for your growth and for the growth of your company. Second is to enhance your analytical skills. You see, there are different. You see, when we mean by analytical skills, it means that what is happening inside your business, you are interpreting it. And when you are interpreting it based on the behavior of your consumers, you are learning what are the things that are going well and what are the things that are going not so good. So it means that if you are an analytical person, you are able to adapt and quickly learn from the mistakes that you are doing inside your company. And that is a way of being able to continuously learn and improve the growth of your business, whether you are a startup, whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur. Third is you see different perspective, same as what I've mentioned a while ago. If you question the norm and you are curious, you see a different perspective that a lot of people are not seeing. And if you are that type of person who sees opportunity while others sees chaos, then you are a naturally born entrepreneur, because entrepreneurs are natural risk takers. And for you to be a natural risk taker, you should have the to take to step right if everyone is stepping on. Learning also contributes to your personal growth. Okay. And it's about sharing a lot of things. It's about sharing a lot of things with people. So I am speaking in front of you. I'm not sure how many attendees we have right now because I don't have the visibility to see the number. But whoever is listening to this right now, okay, since my goal, and if I'm not an entrepreneur right now, I could have been a professor, because I love sharing my knowledge to a bunch of people who I believe can benefit from what I have experienced in the past decade. So if I am someone who is continuously learning, it feels selfish for me to keep it just for myself. Now, if there's only one person here who is listening out of 200 plus, 300 plus, 500 plus, okay, if there's one person who takes the action and be able to change the way they think and the way they do business, that is already a goal for me. Just one. Okay. That makes me feel that I am built for something greater than just being a businessman, just being an entrepreneur. Though the journey of entrepreneurship is way long. Okay. But having to realize as early as now that you're built for something greater, okay, is what also contributes to your personal growth. Next is you realize you know so little. Again, on the previous note, the moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop growing. When you know, you need to realize that you know nothing. Okay. And I'm not sure how many of you guys have experienced this, but when you read a book, sometimes there's a spark in our mind that, wow, even though I have experienced a lot, I really don't know anything. Because as you learn, you realize that you are a dumb person. No matter how much achievement you've done in the past, no matter how much money you have earned in the past, when you read a book, 1, 2, 3 books, you realize, at least for me, I realized that, damn, I don't know anything. And being okay with that is something fulfilling. Okay, so having the boldness to continuously previously learned is going to bring you way long in the journey of entrepreneurship. Next, second to the last is be a problem solver. Now, from being a strategic thinker, okay, as a strategic thinker, you're crafting something that could potentially work and address what are the things that could bring you into the ideal stage that you want to be. And being a problem solver means that things are going south instead of going north in your business. How do you react to that? Being a problem solver means that you are providing the best alternative or best possible solution. It means that, let's say, the supplier of your business, if you are selling, let's say, candles, the supplier of your candles are raising the price to the point that your profit margin is getting razor thin. And it doesn't make sense for you, because assuming that you have people to pay, you have your utilities to pay, you have your own salary. So how do you respond to that? How do you solve your problem? Do you look for other suppliers, or do you bargain with that existing supplier and maybe ask, we've been in your portfolio for quite some time now, maybe you can give us a special price, something like that. So being a problem solver is a day in and a day out challenge. Me personally, I'm always constantly thinking of possible solutions that could address the loopholes that we have inside the company. Okay. And let's say starting a business, there will be a lot of things that you need to solve. There are things that you need, there are a lot of things that you need to figure out yourself, because let's say that you don't have a bunch of capital to let's say hire a bunch of people. You will be doing a lot of things by yourself. And doing a lot of things by yourself, sometimes you get exhausted, you get overwhelmed, because you tend to think, what could be the best solution for this? How do I do this? How do I do that? So that is being a problem solver. So as an entrepreneur, we are by nature a problem solver. Because number one, aside from the things that I have mentioned, number one, we are an entrepreneur because we believe that what we are selling to people can address their challenges and pain point. We believe that this can make their life better, right? So as an entrepreneur, aside from the things that are happening internally, we see an opportunity to address a bunch of things that we believe can make the community that we are serving better, right? So how do you develop your problem solving skills? Next is just like writing a thesis. For you to solve a problem, you need to identify that there is a problem, okay? Because sometimes we tend to overthink. Okay, even things are not yet happening, we overthink. There's this phrase called analysis paralysis. We overthink, even though the problem is not arising, though it's important to be ahead of yourself, but sometimes you need to know where to position that. Where is the right place for that? Next, identifying the problem is basically knowing the main focus. Take those problems one at a time. Don't jump into a different problem when you're just solving the first problem, okay? Because that will not be a fruitful conversation for your mental health or for your mind, and it's bad for your mental health. And also, if you're dealing with a bunch of people, that will not bring you into the closest solution possible. Next is focus on solution. I've been in a lot of meetings where we have identified the problem. And now from that problem, a lot of problems are giving birth from these people who are not really contributing to the solution. So you as a business owner, okay, you need to moderate and you need to manage the conversation. And guys, let's focus on the solution. Let's not bring more fire to the flame. Okay, so you need to focus on the solution by providing alternatives. And when you provide alternatives, okay, there are a bunch of things that you can think of, especially when you're brainstorming with a lot of people. There are a bunch of things that you can list down as a solution. But the most important thing is to limit your solution. Now, how do you do this? Try to trim down the solution at least 3. Okay, because it's easier to think and it's faster to decide if you have only limited options. Because if you have 10 solutions, you need to go through each and every of those. But if you only have 3 and you have identified which top 3 solutions that you can do for whatever you are experiencing in your business, then you can make your life more easy as a decision maker or as a problem solver. Next is think outside of the box. I will say this for everyone. You cannot have the same mentality of solving a problem with the same mentality that brought you in that problem. It simply means that if your current mentality is what brought you to that problem, you need to change it. Because if you have the same mentality, that will not bring you outside of the chaos. Don't expect a different result by doing the same thing. Okay, that is how you think outside of the box. Again, I always emphasize this even when I was working in the corporate. Don't expect a different result by doing the same effort or having the same mindset. If you want to be in a different scenario, if you want to be in a different perspective, if you want to be in a different position, you need to change the way you think. Think outside of the box. Next, for you to be a problem solver, ideas are nothing if you cannot execute it. So you need to learn how to execute the things that you have done. Because if you don't execute it, no matter how great of an idea you have, you will still be stuck on that problem because you don't execute it. The worst thing that could happen if you fail on that execution is you learn. That's it. There are a lot of risks along the way, but if you learn, you can identify another opportunity because you have added enough data or enough study that could potentially eliminate the problems that you can do or the problems that you can create for the next execution. All right. So last but not the least is number 5, perseverance. I think this is one of the most important because perseverance means that regardless of the difficulty that you encounter along the way, you keep moving forward. An average person will eventually give up if you don't love what you do. That is why it is important for you to know and to do what you really love doing for the rest of your life. For example, in my case, okay, and there are a lot of people. Okay, let's not use my my personal experience. Let's use other people's experience. Okay, let's say Steve Jobs. Okay, the great founder in mind behind the first $3 trillion company. I think they are the first $1 trillion company that have ever reached the market valuation. Okay, Steve Jobs. That is the most relatable example. Everyone knows Steve Jobs. Okay, the reason why he's so passionate with all the lawsuits that they have encountered, with all the friends that he lost along the way, and even bouncing back after being ousted or being removed from his company that he started, is that he has the greatest passion to make the lives of people better. It's about simplicity. You know, it's arguably that Apple right now is shifting into the different vision that it originally has, but Steve Jobs has a great passion in tech, in development. Now, it's so hard that any average person would give up. Why? Because there are a lot of things that you will be able to encounter that it would sometimes degrade you as a person. There will be competitions who will try to pull you down. There will be internal challenges that will make you question the integrity, the credibility, and the potential of what you are doing. But if you don't believe in yourself, then you will not go a long way in the entrepreneurial journey. Okay, so make sure that what you are going to do is not for the sake of money. Make sure that what you are going to do is for the sake of really loving it first. And next is having the idea of changing the lives of people in the best way that you can. If money is your main motivation, There's nothing wrong with earning money. Of course, if you are doing a if you're doing full-time business, that will make you try to make ends meet. Okay, but if your main purpose is to just earn, then you will not last long in the journey of being a businessman. Okay, money is only a fuel for a business, just like a car. The fuel is the money. You can go anywhere that you'd like to go, but without the direction, without having a ways and knowing where do you want to go from point A to point B, then you're just wasting a lot of money. Okay, use that analogy when you are, let's say, when you are starting a business, and what's the greater cost beyond earning profit, earning revenue, and from the offer that you're providing? So how do you keep your perseverance? First is to remember why you started. When things are getting tough and you're about to give up, remember why you started. How long have you been in the journey, and where are you right now from the development that you've gained from the point where you started? You started from someone that, let's say, don't know or know a little about the process, and right now you know a bunch of things. You're dealing with a bunch of clients and bunch of customers. So that's number one. Number two is think long term. If you're thinking just short term, meaning short term, you just want to earn quick money, then entrepreneurship is not for you. But if you can think long term, then you are built for entrepreneurship. Next, nobody said it will be easy. If entrepreneurship is so easy, a lot of people would do it. A lot of people would quit their 9-to-5 job. But entrepreneurship is hard, but those who stick around deserves the joy of success. Those who stick around will reap the fruit of that triumph. Okay? Nobody said it will be easy. That is why you need perseverance. Nobody said it will be easy, but if you stick around, you will have your breakthrough. Fourth is learn to take a risk, but rest, but don't quit. It's normal to have a burnout. It's normal to sometimes, feel tired. It's sometimes normal to, run out of motivation. Learn to take a rest. Take a vacation. Spend time with your family. Eat outside. Have a coffee outside. But don't quit, because you're just erasing all of the things that you have exerted effort, and then just throw it away because you just felt tired. Quitting won't make things faster, but taking a rest and jumping back into your momentum will still make you progress. It doesn't matter if you walk slow, as long as you don't stop. Fifth is find other hobbies. This is also related to number 4. If your lifestyle, again, I mentioned a while ago that entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to be focused on your business 24/7 by 365 days. Finding a hobby that contributes to the mental health of taking care of it, and you believe that this will make you a better entrepreneur, is okay. Let's say working out. Okay, find a hobby. Let's say working out in the morning. Working out in the morning helps you think more clearly for the rest of the day. Working out helps you makes you feel confident when you're facing people. It makes you confident when you feel more energetic versus the age that you are in right now, right? So find a hobby that you believe will contribute to your let's say alignment of your business. Joining a non-profit organization can be a hobby because you're helping out, and then you are seeing an opportunity on maybe things that are not addressed yet, but you find a business opportunity and you can make something out of it and partner with a non-profit organization, or depending on where your vision is. Just find a hobby that would make you sane. Not insane, make you sane. All right. So with that, those are the 5 essential skills. Now, skills doesn't have to be technical. These are soft skills. All right. So these are soft skills that if you don't have this, then then it's going to be hard. But if you have this, and if you are willing to develop this, then you are in the good path, in the right path, being an entrepreneur. Number one is sales and communication. Second is strategic. Third is willingness to learn. Fourth is problem solving. And five is perseverance. All right. So that is it for this essential skills to be a successful entrepreneur. Again, it is a pleasure to be part of this community, the Ace Commerce Philippines. And for those who are asking where you can follow me, kung may nagtatanong lang naman. Okay, so you can follow me on these platforms. I am on TikTok, LinkedIn, and Instagram. TikTok, I just started my my content creation a week ago. So if you want to learn about business, marketing, and the day in my life as an entrepreneur, okay, I post here regularly. There are a bunch of tips that I do, like marketing, business, passion, lead generation, digital marketing. I post that on my TikTok. So if you have a TikTok, please follow me. If you are a professional who is more on LinkedIn, I am also on LinkedIn. And if you are somehow on a laid back, I am also on Instagram, where I post a bunch of contents about my life as a business person. Okay, now, Patrice, should I promote the other one, or would you do that? Hello? Okay, so anyway, they're not speaking. So thank you everyone again. All right, so I can take this slot to promote. So for those who are listening, by the way, how many attendees do we have?
We currently have 540 participants.
Okay, 540. So right now, what we've discussed are the soft skills for an entrepreneur. Now, if you are someone who has an idea but don't know where to start and how you can build your business, Ace Commerce is partnering with Xurge Digital Media, which I will be the instructor also for the workshop that we will be doing on March 12, which will be the technical skills on how do you build your own business. So we're talking about a bunch of stuff here. So it's not just, hold on. All right. So it's not just the soft skills that you have learned right now, but you will learn how to assess an opportunity. You will learn how to write a business plan. You will learn how to do the registrations. You will learn how to do how do you track your finances. You'll learn a bunch of stuff from being an idea generator to actually executing it. And after that workshop, this will be a hands-on workshop. This is not just something that you will learn. There will be a lot of question and answers that you would like to throw out on the spot. And after that, you will be able to start your business. Okay, so you'll be able to take home some resources like the one-page business plan, some of the PowerPoint presentations, some of the templates, and the actual experience of learning a business. By the way, this is not a book-based entrepreneurial workshop, but this is based on my close to 10 years experience in starting a bunch of businesses and generating, I don't want to say the amount, but decent amount of money from the businesses that I have handled. Okay, so if you register right now, I think this will run for a quick week, 1 week. You'll have an early bird discount. The price is, I think, 500 pesos, and the regular fee is 750 pesos. This will be a whole morning. Tama ba? Whole morning workshop. This will be, you will do a bunch of things. You will not just listen, but you will do a bunch of writing, a bunch of searching on Google, and a bunch of things that will help you prepare after the workshop to launch and start making money. Okay, so that is it for me.
All right. So thank you so much for that insightful talk, Sir David. And as someone who is really interested in how to strengthen my entrepreneurship skills, I could really apply the tips and lessons today to help me build any kind of business in the future. So I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to ask questions to know more about the topic today. So we are now opening the floor to some questions. So Eliza will be the one to address you during the Q&A portion. So please send your questions through the live chat box there on YouTube. So hi, Eliza.
Hi everyone, I'm also a community associate of Ace Commerce and I'll be the host for today's Q&A. So please send your questions through the chat box on YouTube and don't be shy in doing so. So while waiting for some questions to come in, I'm actually interested in knowing how can a starting entrepreneur improve their sales and communication skills when they have limited connections? How can they broaden their networking skills further, especially now when it's difficult because of the pandemic?
I'm sorry. So the first question was, how do you improve your sales and communication skills, right?
Yes, when they have limited connections.
Okay. So sales and communication skills, you don't need a lot of connections to start improving your sales and communication skills. Okay. The first thing, as I mentioned a while ago, is you need to be able to understand, let's say if you are selling your personal brand, okay, you need to be able to understand the details of what you are talking about. Okay. Because that's how you perceive yourself as someone who is valuable and someone who is confident. Now, if you are starting from scratch, I would suggest that you try to face in front of a mirror. I did it. I did this personally. Try to face it in front of the mirror and try to create some questions on your mind. Huge difference when the nervousness strikes when you are facing a person already. Okay, so I mean, I have questions before that. David, you've done a bunch of talkings, speaking engagements in the past. Do you still get nervous? And the answer is all the time. All the time. I may sound confident, but I still care about my passion and the way I deliver my speech, because I want to make sure that I don't overcomplicate the things that I am saying. But the way that I can continuously progress is by speaking so many times until I become natural at it. So you don't need a bunch of connections, though it will be an important element for you to really practice face to face. But let's say joining courses, there are a lot of courses that you can mingle with different people. Let's say exposing yourself, joining nonprofit organizations or joining networking events, not the multi-level marketing, but the networking events for, having the opportunity to meet a bunch of people, even virtually, and then be able to exchange some ideas. Okay. There are so many opportunities out there. You just need to express yourself. When you think, try to craft your sentence, your idea into sentences, so that when you face people and you start conversing with them, you already have this exercise in your mind that this is something that I will say, this is something that I will ask, and this is something that I will have to understand. Number one is listen, number two is understand, and number three is where do you position yourself in relating. Okay.
Right, thank you. So we have several questions from the audience. First one is, how were you able to balance freelancing, working a corporate job, studying various courses, and spending time with your family, or parentheses, love life?
Aha. Okay. Ulitin ko lang yung question. No? So how do I balance myself from being a freelancer back then, having a corporate job, spending, enrolling in different courses, and love life or family?
Or family,
Okay.
yeah.
So during actually funny, you really need to you really need to sacrifice something. Okay. When you are a business person or when you are just starting out, you cannot have the best of both worlds. That is the sad truth. Entrepreneurship is sometimes lonely, okay? Because a lot of people will misunderstood you, okay? So you have to be okay when you speak to someone and they will say, "Ha, bakit? Bakit kailangan ganyan? Bakit kailangan ganito? Grabe naman ang OA naman yan. You have to get used to getting that because you are built different. Okay? Next is how do I balance? Actually, nag-sacrifice ako ng sleep talaga. I sacrifice a lot of sleep. And diba, ang sinasabi nila is you need to get 7 to 8 hours. I think hindi na uso yun ngayon eh. I was doing freelance at night. And then I really make sure na on time lahat ng ginagawa ko. This was back in 2016, 17, and 18 when I was really doubling down on, side gigs. May shirt printing business pa ako noon, and working corporate job. I worked in sales during those times, and my working hours was 11 hours a day. Okay? And then papasok ako noon, uuwi ako, wala pa akong love life ng time na yun. Okay, so hindi masyado mahirap and we don't have typically a family day. So it's basically more of myself. And on Saturdays and on Sundays, I attend courses. I remember back in 2017, I took accounting for non-accountants in UPISSI, or UP Institute of Small Scale Industries, because I am weak with numbers. But I want to expose myself in understanding more of an accounting because personally, hindi ko alam kung paano ako nakagraduate ng entrepreneurship. I graduated in San Beda. So yung units namin yung hanggang accounting 5 kami. So hindi ko alam kung paano ako nakasurvive ng accounting 5. But when I jump into the real world of business, dun ko na-realize na I need to really understand the language of accounting. So every Saturdays, I don't attend Saturday OT kasi required din sa amin ng corporate job. I don't attend Saturday OT. I try to manage my manager's expectation, my team leader's expectation na, Madam, kailangan kong pumunta dito kasi I'm spending 5 hours, something like that. It depends on your scenario. So there are a lot of things na masasacrifice. But the idea there is you need to think long term. If ginawa ko itong ngayon, what benefit me in the long run, which grabe yung benefit niya with so many things that I've studied before and I was able to apply it in real life business. Okay, I believe I'm matured enough to make some smart decisions inside the business. Although the learning doesn't stop, there are still challenges, but still having that kind of reminder and stock knowledge will make you more efficient in the business. Sacrifice, yun yung sagot ko.
All right, so thank you. So another question would be, what are the biggest risks you face as an entrepreneur?
Sorry?
What are the biggest risks you face as an entrepreneur?
Ooh, what are the biggest risks? When you're starting, you don't have any investor. You need to invest your own money. Okay, I'll give you an idea. Actually, dami, di ko alam kung ano yung dapat ko i-share. Pero, most of the time you'll have to do bootstrapping. When we say bootstrapping, it means that you're shelling out your own money and risking it all. Now, I was fortunate to realize early in my life that it's okay to lose huge amount of money while I'm young, while I don't have any much responsibility, because okay, I'm not generalizing, no. So magbabato ko na number, but I'm not generalizing that everyone should be in the same place. We all have our different scenarios. Maybe some of the listeners have family to feed. Maybe some are in a different scenario, breadwinner, something like that. But for me, hindi ako breadwinner. My responsibility is myself only. Okay, so no mga bandang 21 to 22, 23, it's okay for me to risk most of my salaries to a venture and then lose it when I have a wife and a kid and I don't have the audacity to make sure that what do you call this? Kikita siya. So the biggest risk is spending your own money. I could have spent it in, a lot of things, being updated with so many gadgets. May iba akong luho, pero yun yung risk doon. Yun yung risk doon. I think the biggest investment I did at the age of 23 was 250, 300,000. Yung nervyos ko nun, hindi, hindi ko na ma-describe. Pero that generated me so many learnings. It might not sound a lot for big business owners, but if you are a 22, 23-year-old kid, okay, medyo ano yun, medyo malaki-laki yan.
All right, thank you for that. So the next one is, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently when you first starting out?
Knowing what I know now, is there something that I could have done or start differently?
Yeah.
Okay. Siguro, that's a good question. Kasi ang daming pumapasok sa isip ko. Ito, so, medyo controversial to. Pero, nung college sana ako, kasi when I was in college, I was really a studious person. I focus on my grades. I always aim for being a Dean's Lister. I was almost a cum laude back then. Pero because of a stupid subject na nagsingko ako, PE, so hindi ako nag cum laude. Pero anyway, if there's something that I could have changed, is maybe studying everything that I know now 10 years ago. Because imagine, right now, if you want to be relevant in the business and you want to be some sort of a high valued person, you need to have a very important skill that is very important to the company, so that you cannot be easily replaced. And when you are replaced or when you are released, okay, a lot of people are looking out for your skill. If there's something that I wish I could have learned, it's programming. Okay, why? In my business, okay, coding and developing is really a big part. Now, if I could have done it, marami na akong mas naging ahead na ako, and I could have saved a lot of money. Okay, more on technical, kasi I was exposed at a very young age yung soft skills, yung diniscuss ko kanina. Alam ko na kaagad yun, and na-instill na agad siya sa brain ko to have this kind of mindset. Now, the thing that's lacking was the technical skills. Okay, so I had to learn that. Hindi naman siya late, pero if I could have done that, if I could have learned that before ako graduate, mas naging ahead siguro ako. So yun, siguro knowing technical skills. So yung mga hindi pa nakagraduate dyan, please mag-aral kayo ng technical skills. Kasi yun yung pinaka-importante. Simple as macro, Excel, learning how to code, UX, UI, something like that, crypto or blockchain development, learn that. Because that will not, parang hindi ka gugutumin nun. Papasok palagi yung pera mo.
Okay, thank you. So the next one, was there a time when people around you doubted that you would ever make a journey? How did you deal with them? Oh, sorry, can you hear me?
Sorry? Was there a time?
Was there a time when the people around you doubted that you would ever make your journey? How did you deal with them?
Yes. I will share this one. So, ito yung hindi ko makakalimutan. Someone told me na, David, hindi ka makakapunta sa level ko. So ako naman yung taong hindi mabilis ma-offend. Depende sa scenario. Pero parang okay, there will be a lot of doubters. Okay, there will be even my family, even my parents, of course. My parents are senior citizens. They are more into the traditional. Don't quit your corporate job, because I was earning good amount of money on my age during that time. Don't quit your corporate job because that's so stable. But for me, I cannot sit in the desk for 10 hours straight. Kasi during that time, my responsibility is getting bigger and bigger, and the working hours is getting longer and longer. Okay, so, but I have so many ideas that I want to execute by myself that I don't want to consult it with any other people. So, yun, my parents are, at least my mother, So na-adapt naman niya, naintindihan naman niya, but my dad was really a full-blooded entrepreneur. He is the type of person na kahit ilang beses mag-fail, he will find a way to get back up and start the business again. So maybe dun ko nakuha yun. But again, yun yung isa sa pinaka nag-strike sa akin. David, you will not be in my level. And I use that as an inspiration. Okay? Hindi ako na-offend. Kasi the moment na na-offend ka, you're exerting your energy to think of how you can rebuttal and how you can get a revenge. Success is the best revenge. That quote is so true. At least for me. That is so true. Because if someone speak bad about you and then you prove them wrong, all you have to do is smile. That's it. And when they see you now, David, you will not be in this kind of position. And then you reach that position and you exceeded that. The best thing that you can do is smirk. Told you. Something like that. And there will be people na, even up until now, may nag-doubt ng skill ko. Fine. It's okay. It's okay. As long as I'm providing value to people, then I know I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Okay. Don't be afraid that people will go against you, because as an entrepreneur, as a business person, that is natural. People will misunderstood you and people will doubt you. If people are not doubting you, you're not doing something good. If lahat ng tao ay nag-agree sa ginagawa mo, maybe you're doing something hindi appropriate, or hindi appropriate as an entrepreneur. You need to take the step kung saan wala masyado. Take the path less traveled. Okay.
Okay, so right, I'm gonna say the last question, even though we have a lot from our 562 participants.
Wow.
So they can just reach out to you na lang if ever. So the last one, what are the factors that we need to consider for aspiring entrepreneurs with limited capital or resources?
You have to be very, 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 very resourceful. You cannot have a bunch of money when you're just starting, but you need to check a lot of resources that you can use as an alternative. Okay? Pag nakita kasi, here's something that's bad. When we are starting a business and nakikita natin na dami natin nakikita na ideas sa internet, sa Pinterest, social media, Instagram, TikTok, okay? And then, gusto ko ng ganyan. And then we fall into the trap of, mangungutang ka na ng mangungutang, okay? As much as possible, be resourceful. Try to be creative on the things that you can do as an alternative for that expensive stuff that you want to buy, okay? Now, I cannot give a specific example, a specific tip for this kasi depende naman yun sa nature of business mo eh. Okay, but again, you need to be resourceful. You don't need spend. Okay, I made the TikTok video for those na hindi pa nagfa-follow sa TikTok. I-follow nyo na ako kasi doon kung masasagot possibly. Mag-comment lang kayo on some of your business questions, then I will answer that in a video. But again, I made a video on TikTok on the five things that I have learned after failing businesses in the past. Number one is capital. If you have lots of capital and if you have small amount of capital, you can still fail. Capital is not the security for you to succeed in business. You know what's going to be a determinant of your success? It's going to be your resourcefulness to do when things are not available. Okay, because when you have money and you have instilled in yourself na hindi, kailangan ko tipirin to, okay? Mas madali kang mag-grow. I'll tell you a story. Actually, I encountered this on Instagram, I think, or on TikTok. A story about Eminem. Okay, Eminem is so rich, so rich. Okay, he used to live in the trailer with his mom. If you lose yourself, na alam yung kantang yon, you lose yourself by Eminem, that is the story of his life. Now, he used to live in a trailer with his mom and working in a construction company. Now, of course, being in that place na wala ka masyadong pera and you're finding yourself into the career to be a rapper, you are always being resourceful on, kailangan, paano ko gagawin to? Paano ko pumunta dito? How's my gas money? Paano ko gagawin to? So many things. Okay. And then when he reached the, the fame and all the money, when he was about to buy a Rolex, he called his financer and asked his financer, can I afford a Rolex? Are you sure can I afford a Rolex? Dude, Eminem is a multi-millionaire, but he has that mindset na, afford ko ba to? Baka naman pwedeng ano. And what he's wearing right now during that interview that I saw was a G-Shock worth $200. My God, he's worth $200 million, but what he's wearing is G-Shock. Okay, a lot of people tend to, when pag tumaas na yung income nila, tataas na rin yung lifestyle nila. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Kaya ka nga kumikita para ma-enjoy mo yung labor mo. But sometimes you need to take good control of it. Okay, so just be resourceful. Money, when you have little to money, see, one last example. But First Coffee, if you're familiar with that. But First Coffee started, I think, with 6,000 pesos. And now they have But First Coffee branches. I think nasa around 10 branches na sila. Batangas, Metro Manila, in different places. Started with 6,000 pesos. 6,000 pesos. Nagagawa nga natin mag-ipon para bumili ng iPhone eh. Nagagawa nga natin mag-ipon para bumili ng kung ano-anong bagay. Pero if you can prioritize yourself, money is not really the what do you call this? The hindrance. You can still fail with so many money and limited money. It's about how you run the business.
All right, so that's all the time we have for today, and I'm giving the floor back to Patrice. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much, Eliza. And once again, thank you so much, Sir David, for answering the questions and for the informative and inspiring talk you have shared with me and everyone in this Zoom room. So with that, we want to award this certificate of appreciation to you for being our speaker for today. So Ace Commerce Philippines award this certificate of appreciation to Mr. David Ramos for imparting his valuable insight and inspiration at the Ace Commerce webinar entitled Essential Skills for New and Aspiring Entrepreneurs, What It Takes to Run a Business in 2022 and Beyond, given on this day, February 11, 2022, Manila, Philippines, signed by Franz, CEO and founder of Asia Commerce. So thank you again, Sir David, for being such an inspiration to me and the peoples of today's event. And we really appreciate you allotting time for us. And it was truly an honor to have you speak for us. So before I let you go, guys, as Sir David mentioned, we want to invite you to Mr. David upcoming paid workshop this March 12, Saturday, from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. So Ace Commerce Philippines is now launching a workshop for entrepreneurial-minded people like you who are finding a way to build their own business empire. And this one is going to be an absolute gold for you. So this workshop is about a comprehensive and in-depth discussion on how to build a business from the ground up. So Build Your Own Business is a workshop for aspiring and startup entrepreneurs who want to gain a deeper understanding of how businesses work in today's ecosystem. So this workshop inclusions include the certificate of completion, business plan template, speaker slide deck, and the access to the full recording of the workshop. So next slide, please. So also in this workshop, you will learn to develop the mindset and personal skills of a successful entrepreneur, evaluate business potential, write a business plan, decide on a legal structure and register a business, identify funding sources and fund the business or business growth, assess risk and feasibility, plan strategically, manage accounting and cash flow, market and sell your services and products, and lastly, manage human resources. So if you are interested, then here's how you can join the paid workshop. So first, sign up through our website acecommerce.org and go to the Philippine chapters. After that, click the March 12 Mr. David paid workshop event and buy your tickets. So after purchasing the tickets, you will now receive your tickets in your email along with the information on the paid workshop. So we really hope that everyone will come, learn, and participate in this paid workshop to obtain technical knowledge on how to grow their businesses. So the early bird rate is 500 pesos for tickets purchased between February 11 to February 18, while the regular price is 750 pesos. So avail it now, guys. Take this opportunity while it's on sale. So for the next announcements, of course, our weekly webinars will continue next week, and we hope to see you again for our webinar entitled E-commerce Marketing, a peek on how it's done in Shopee with Miss Patricia De La Cruz, the Senior Marketing Analyst of Shopee, on February 18 at 4 o'clock p.m. So you can RSVP on this website. Again, thank you and see you guys next week, same day and same time. So finally, for the last reminders for the participants who would want to have an e-certificate. So please do not forget to create an Ace Commerce account through our website acecommerce.org as we give announcement for future webinars where you can RSVP. So please do not forget to answer the e-certificate form that will be sent at the chat box. And friendly reminder that we will strictly no longer entertain concerns about e-certificate and create e-certificate to those who failed to answer the Google form. So please avoid making errors in putting your email, since incorrect emails will no longer be our responsibility. So if you want to learn more about entrepreneurship and get updated for upcoming events, please like our Facebook page. And in order to connect with fellow entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, you can join our Telegram group so you can network and ask advice from the community. So that's it, guys. And remember that the evaluation form will be closed at 11:59 p.m. only today. And for concerns, kindly message us on Facebook page or on our Telegram channel. So thank you again, everyone, for joining our event today, and we hope to see you again in our next event. So thank you also, Sir David.
You're welcome.
Be touching her skin. She's feeling kinda dirty when she's dancing with him, forgetting what she told me by the water fountain. Now he's grabbing her hips and pulling her in, kissing her lips and whispering in her ear, and she knows that